Same time. All right. So once again, Chase is in Sean's house. Hanging out in the capsule with Sean. It's like really been very interesting. But last week or last time, I was talking about some of the things that I thought were important to add around black exploitation. But I gotta tell you, Magnificent Seven is in my top three of all time. Always will be. Nothing will really kind of like rise above that. I would just say it fluctuates, maybe between number one film and number three film. But one of the main reasons why is because of the writing. Now, even though it was interesting to hear about the different writers and the disputes that were happening with Max and Sister Seven, so I really actually don't know who to accredit the major scenes that I thought were very visual in its writing, but I just wanted to just talk about a little bit about that because Magnificent Seven went beyond the cowboy movie. Not just because it had this added element of the samurai film or anything like that, because you got to also remember what probably Sean didn't talk about is that at the time that this film was made, samurai films was a big rise, not just in Hong Kong, but slowly we were starting to get the imports because it was at the time that the kung fu genre started to seep into the American imports. So a lot of the kung fu genre was the samurai genre, where we had like the female samurai or we had the blind samurai like Zatoichi, Lady Snowblood and all that. I'm not here talking about that. I was just only saying is that the original film was very minimalist dialogue, but the characters were so strong visually. I mean, these Ronin shoguns, samurais, they were very visual characters that they stood out, in the Akira Kurosawa's film. So when John Sturges, was doing this movie, I think in the writing and why it has so much detail taken into it was because they wanted to emphasize character. So what I just wanted to talk about was like, some of my favorite lines. Eli Wallach, a Jewish man playing a Mexican. I mean, hey, who knew, right? But Carvelo, he has there were so many strong scenes where he's talking, to new Brenners, intense eyes, And one of my favorite lines that I always quote is, if God had not wanted them sheared, he would not make them sheep. Boom. You know what I mean? It's like these people deserve to be taken advantage of. No, they don't, but this is his mentality. This is his reasoning for why he's able to do what he do. And, when Sean was talking about like that ending line, it was like, it's more powerful than just Yul Brynner, not answering him for whatever reason, because he's like, why? Why'd you come back? You know what I mean? For these people, for these ants, And I think it was more powerful in its silence for Yul Brynner to just kind of like just let him wait for the answer. His eyes were wide open and then he gasped his last breath. And it's like, you don't deserve to know why. You know what I mean? Because I didn't do it for you. That's visual language. That's visual grammar. And I'm constantly loving films that focus on that. So let's talk about Robert Vaughn, the deserter. Here's a guy who lived on his reputation. Who doesn't, right? And everything else like that. And, he gets his profound scene. See, this is what Steve McQueen really should have been fighting for. He should have been fighting for his production value. Where's my moment? And a lot of his moments was petty. But so I'm talking about the moments that weren't. So Robert Vaughn, when he's sitting in the dark and those three, Mexican men come in and, he decides to drink because he's in so much pain, so much guilt for surviving the war, the fight and everything, he's living off of his legend and everything. And like he says, I'm a deserter hiding out on a battlefield. Boom. Then another great moment is there's flies on the table, and because he's so fast, opens his hand, and the men don't have to say nothing. They look. And he goes, 1. There was a time I would have caught all 3. If this doesn't make you want to see such a film, I don't know what will. Yeah? I mean, this movie is fantastic. So, you got that. Also, I mean, Harry Luck, it was a thankless role. He was always kind of like, and you could tell it's somewhat ad-libby. He was always trying to find out, like, how much, is that gold in them hills? Yeah, that's gold, right? Or silver, right? It's kind of funny, the way people just kept ignoring him and everything, because his desperation was, we have to be fighting for a reason. We can't just simply be fighting for these people. Right? There's a reason, right? And so when he comes in to make his final sacrifice, and he says to Chris, there was gold, right? And then Chris tells him, yeah, man, you were right all along. There was a lot of gold. See, that's what I'm talking about, the difference. He gave a dying man his last wish, you know what I mean? Because he wanted to send him off, realizing that he didn't die for nothing, but he wouldn't give it to Carvan. And that's why I know that was on purpose that he wouldn't do that. Charles Bronson, trying to make him a family man, was good and powerful. It was really heart-wrenching to see the young boys that took to him, tended to his grave. But what also Sean didn't take note of is the ending, where Bosos, Chico, didn't ride out with the other 2, right? Because Chico was a farmer. And, his whole thing was, I hate being a farmer. And, I hate these people. And Yul Brynner, had to tell him that you hate them because you are them. It's like you hate yourself. He's like, yeah, I hate myself. He's a psychologist. But then, when he's riding out to the end, and Yul Brynner is like, only the farmers won. Right? And both him and Steve McQueen look to Chico. Chico looks to them, looks down at the girl. Dude, what are you doing following us, man? They don't have to say it. We had enough counseling, but it's like, all Chris does is go, adios. And then he goes, oh, man, I didn't chill. And he goes, adios. And he rides back down into the town, rides up to the woman of his that he loves, and he drops his guns. Rolls up his sleeve because he's going to tend to the land. Visual grammar is where it's at. Filmmakers, please pay attention to The Magnificent Seven, because it's more than just a movie. It's drama, it's heart, it's emotional impact. Hopefully you felt some of those from some of the lines that I had quoted to you just now. I'm going to go home and watch this movie. I just think it's fantastic. So I want to thank Sean McKinnon for giving us a retrospective on Magnificent Seven. Kind of glossed over, like Denzel, but I would have too. But you've been watching the content.